Hey, welcome to my video. I don't post a lot of videos, but I'm wanting to share this with you guys. So I'm Dave with iGear Test, and I do a lot of just gear stuff. I don't normally do a lot of reviews that are video like this, but this is the ARB touring awning system. Just got it in. And you know, one of the big challenges of getting the ARB is the ARB makes some brackets, but they're kind of primitive, and so there are a lot of different options out there, a lot of different ways to do this. Most of them are just an L bracket with U bolts, and you can just steal them right off the side of somebody's truck. If you had a bolt or a wrench or something, you could just loosen those bolts and take it off by hand. So I was looking for something that was a little more secure when I left my vehicle, at the trailhead or something. So I I watched a video. There was only one video using this particular mounting hardware setup, and it wasn't very detailed. And unfortunately, I've already mounted these, and I'm probably not going to be taking them off for you guys. But anyway, I wanted you to get an up close look to see how this works. So you can make a decision on whether you want to try to do this or not. It only took me about an hour to get everything mounted and put on the ARB. And essentially, the problem with this mount is that this is a bracket, a metal bracket, and this is the base part. And so these are the Yakima, I think they're called Shady. Anyways, Yakima made a shade. It's something kind of, it's an awning, but it's something kind of like an ARB, but it's not as sturdy. So, but this is the base and this is the bracket for the Yakima SunShade or Shady Shade or whatever they call it. Anyways, so look, when you buy this thing, it has a really good T-piece that slides into the bracket, and that T-piece fits nice and snug, very tight into the end brackets, that slide down into those T's, right? And that's how the bolts slide in. The heads of the bolts slide in, and the heads of the bolts, or I'm sorry, the heads of the screws come out here, and then you can put a bolt on it, right? Well, the holes for this bracket are too low, okay? And you can see right here just a little bit of a hole. That's the actual drilled out hole that came with this from the manufacturer. And what I did was I got inside that hole with a rasp. Okay, this is heavy duty aluminum, but it's not steel, so you can use a rasp. You may destroy your rasp. I destroyed mine, but anyways, I was able to essentially route out an area using a rasp, routing out an area that's about the same size as the bolt. I'm sorry, the screw, not the bolt. And here's the rasp. I'll show it to you. Here's the rasp that I used, and you can see it's nice, and it's got all kinds of, it's a rasp, right? It's like a file. And mine broke. Okay, so mine was hand. I had my hand rasp here, and I was, it's not made for this, but it's what I was using, and yeah, it broke. Okay, now it actually was fortuitous, really, because what ended up happening was when it broke, I was able to put the end of that rasp in my DeWalt drill and tighten it down really tight, and it stayed in there and was able to spin really fast, and I knocked out all 4 of these holes. 1, 2, 3, 4. I knocked them all out in less than an hour. Just kind of checking as I went along to see, I brought a screw out here and was like, okay, I did a little bit, does that work? I did a little bit, does that work? And eventually I got to the point where it worked. Now, I want you to see something. Now, when that bolt goes through there and you've routed it out, you can see the empty space where the original hole was. That's not a shadow, that's actually the hole where the empty space is, where the original hole was. So I've routed it that much off. Now, when the bolt on there, it comes very close to the end. This bolt is actually big enough. If you rasp something about the exact same size as that screw, you probably don't need to have a washer. But I put a washer on there just as an extra precaution. Like I said, this T piece that slides into the ARB right here is a perfect fit. It's nice and snug, and essentially, once you get the bolts started and you get everything slid together, you just go out to your roof rack and figure out how far you want it to be apart and what's easy to put on, and then you just tighten those bolts down. So I kind of, just used one of these, boom, got on there, tightened it down slowly. I didn't get it real tight until I got out there and got it up on the rack itself, and then I just tightened it down the rest of the way. Now, the reason I went with this instead of the other methodologies or ways to do it are some of it is a little bit of aesthetics, and then a little bit of it is I think that this is more of a deterrent to steal. Even if you undid these bolts, even if you undid them to try to steal them off your car, this T piece here is such a tight fit, and because there's two of them, you would have a very hard time sliding this ARB thing off of these T things. Let me show you how wide. It's really because the T piece here is so wide, and so when you get that on there, even if you undid those bolts, you can't slide it off. I had a very hard time trying to slide it off. Essentially, the T is such a tight fit that it binds in that when you have a little bit of kind of pressure on it. So I feel very comfortable that this is going to stay on my car. It's going to stay on my truck, and I can pop it on and off very quickly with this. This Yakima essentially is a little clamp here, and like I said, I've got a lock for it. The lock faces, for me, because I put this on my passenger side, it faces on the inside. So when you're looking at it, you can't even see that lock. You actually have to get up on there and get the key in there from the back side, essentially. So anyway, there wasn't a whole lot of knowledge about this on YouTube. But look, I bought these mounts and these brackets. Again, the mount here, the metal bracket, and you can see how that metal bracket slides. I don't know if you can see that, but it kind of slides onto that mounting bracket. And then you tighten it down with an Allen wrench there. But essentially, I didn't see a lot of videos about this, and so I kind of took a plunge and bought both the brackets and the bases used on Facebook from a guy in Denver who was kind enough to ship them to me. They're not cheap. I got both of them for $70, $72 actually, and that included him shipping it to me. I paid him to ship them to me, but these were in good shape. And anyways, I just wanted to share this so that you all could know about it, and definitely, I think it's a slick setup. So, anyways, post in the comments if you have any questions. I'll try to answer them. But again, it's not really complicated. You just need to go get a rasp. It's an excuse to go to the store, get a round rasp. Try to get something that's smaller than the diameter of the screw, so that you can play with it and route out something that's the perfect size. Again, this hole here is pretty big. So essentially what I did is I flipped this thing upside down and just put pressure on it with my DeWalt drill. Like I said, I mounted that thing to, tighten it onto my DeWalt locking mechanism and just started it up and just went to town. So anyways, I'm happy with this, and if you have any questions, just post them in the comments, and hey, I'll see you out on the trail.